Wanted to take a look at Riot Platforms. Riot Platforms, of course, is the Bitcoin mining company. Bitcoin has been shooting up higher, but Riot Platforms has underperformed, although they are profitable finally, which I thought was interesting. Why is there no movement in Riot Platforms stock? Riot stock has basically gone flat, despite the fact that other cryptocurrency stocks have been moving higher. Analysts expect Riot to actually fall with revenues and earnings. I expect, along with some of the information we've been getting on some of the other markets, such as metals and now oil, falling, I expect all assets to fall. Stocks and cryptocurrencies are certainly one of them. So despite the fact that cryptocurrencies has shot up as much as it has, Riot Platforms probably is going to see its stock falling even further. Let's jump into some charts and I'll show you what I'm looking at. Here's a good look at Riot Platforms stock. As you can see, the big huge rush we saw back in 2020 into 21, and then of course a sell-off all through 22 and down into 23, 24. Pushing all the way up to 80 bucks, now sitting at 9.98 is what I have showing right there. Probably going to go sub $5 again. Now, Riot Platforms, a couple things on their most recent financials. First, they produced or mined 68% less coin, about 260 I think was the number of coins that they mined, versus the same year last. What's going on there? First, there's a couple variables you need to understand when it comes to mining. The price is certainly going to bring everybody in, but once everybody is in, difficulty shoots upward. So it's harder to mine coins because the reward is so much bigger for so many more players. Given that, what Riot Platforms was able to mine was 68% less this year compared to last. Here's a good look at Bitcoin itself. And as you can see, I mean, this is the same time period. Mostly Bitcoin and Riot Platforms were following suit up until about 2023. There was 2024. There's been a big shoot higher in Bitcoin. Riot Platforms has not followed. Here's a good look at the two compared. This is Riot Platforms stock versus Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin just took off, but on a percentage basis, they kind of have the same kind of movement, except for late 2023 when Bitcoin took off again. I wanted to take a look at there was a halving event back in April, of course, and I took a look at this. You can see there was a big jump in the hash rate. It's simply more difficult to mine the same coin. The rewards are literally half, and the price is bringing everybody in. So from that perspective, when you think about Riot Platforms, they're probably going to see a dwindling amount of coins mined if price remains the same. But I feel pretty certain that we're going to see Bitcoin and Ethereum moving lower. I've been saying this. Assets, broadly speaking, are probably going to be taking a haircut. The stock market is going to be moving lower. The Federal Reserve has been pushing interest rates up higher for longer. This economy is going to contract. We just saw oil dropping hard, about 10% in 3 days. All these assets, metals are starting to move lower. Oil, stocks will follow. Cryptocurrency is going to follow because the Federal Reserve is restricting economic activity. None of these are immune to that. Now, I get that everybody's sitting there saying, oh, no, it's going to go to the moon, it's going to go to the moon. Listen, I own a ton of Ethereum. Not a ton. I would love Ethereum to go to the moon. It's not going to go to the moon. Instead, I'm taking the position of reality and saying, listen, all assets are going to be moving lower. Therefore, I want to protect what I've got. So I've been taking positions, options positions against Ethereum, selling calls, buying puts, getting ready for a slide lower in cryptocurrencies along with other assets. So going back to Riot Platforms, if we see a move lower in Bitcoin and Ethereum or all cryptocurrencies, you're likely to see a move lower because the difficulty is still there with regard to mining. and also the halving event. Once price drops, the difficulty will get easier because individuals will leave the sphere and not mine as much. In the meantime, here's quarterly revenue, flat for the past several years. That was kind of telling to me. But analyst expectations for 2024, they've had to lower this. I had these numbers in here from about 6 months ago when I looked at Riot Platforms before, and I basically said it wouldn't be a strong buy at that point. It really hasn't done anything since 6 months previous. 2025, analysts had dropped this down from about 680 down to 540. That's a pretty decent move lower. Net margins. Huge net margins for the past 2 quarters based on what they've been able to earn. But they won't be able to sustain that, especially if Bitcoin price drops because of the halving. The hash rate will probably moderate a little bit if people exit. Earnings per share, projected earnings per share, 2024, looking for a whopping 54 cents, which means if you got a reasonable return of investment on Riot Platforms stock, you'd be looking for about $2.50. If they were able to if Riot Platforms were able to maintain 54 cents. I don't think they do. I think Bitcoin, along with all cryptocurrencies, falls. I'm taking action to protect my profits on that. Riot Platforms probably see sub $5 before the end of this year. Breaking that down in that manner, this is how I kind of look at things. I start from the economy first, and the Federal Reserve is actively shifting things with regards to inflation. They pushed interest rates up higher and higher. This will have an overall effect on the economy. All assets are going to move lower. No assets are immune to that. Personally, I'm taking precautions by putting on what's called a risk reversal, selling calls, buying puts against my Ethereum position so I can protect my net worth in my Ethereum, bringing in more coin as the price moves lower, keeping the total balance remaining about the same. Riot Platforms, $2.50, that would be a reasonable price given the projected earnings for just this year. It's overpriced at its current numbers, but expectations are from analysts that they don't even keep that. If Bitcoin does fall further and further, Riot Platforms might have trouble holding 250. Make sure to hit that like and follow button. We'll see you in the next video.